Can you say hard hats, folks? Hard hats, lunch pails, steel toe boots.
Anything short of a championship this year is a failure.
Look at this boomer right here.
You've just got so much talent here.
Somebody said we need to apologize for Jaylen.
Can I quote it, John? What are we apologizing for? What did we say? What did we do?
I was told the music trails.
It trailed. Oh, there
Nah,
it is.
too late, Amit. Too late. Too late.
Damn it, Amit. Hopefully he was busy making my meme.
Caught.
We did get a trailing. We got a trailed last night. We trailed it last night.
But it takes like great focus and concentration.
Does it?
Celtics trailed tonight, came back. Good win.
Grant Williams' revenge game.
Grant Williams still picking up his face from the floor after Tatum blocked him at halftime.
That was about as tough as that could have gone.
For him, yeah, that was a tough. And then Tatum stared him down after. That was nice too.
Oh, I was rooting for Grant tonight. You know, the fans gave him a lot of crap out the door. I was hoping he'd come back and lay a little punch on them. You know, maybe the Celtics still win, but he has a good game, but not quite. 1 of 5, -3, 3 rebounds, 2 points.
Womp womp.
Yeah, that's like how he's been playing.
That's
kind of a salty foul on Brown in the second half. It looked like
it was a little salty, and Jaylen was like, "I'm gonna let that go."
Grant must
because I feel bad for you. Okay, I'm gonna let it go
because you're so annoying. I'm just going to make a point to not acknowledge what you just did. And then he was like laughed about it. I think somebody on Grant's team was like, "Yeah, he's annoying," and Jaylen Brown just laughed at it.
Was it Kyrie?
No, surprisingly, it was somebody else.
All right,
but yeah,
here we go. Do the JB clock and let's go, guys. Give me some credit. Give me some credit. Go ahead, Amit. Do we make it? We didn't make it. No, there's just.
We have the ticking. Yep. All right, you're on the clock.
No. I mean, enough.
You're on the clock. No, you're on the clock.
Enough. Got it. The story of the game is obviously we gave the Jays grief yesterday, but really it was more Tatum and Brown. When this looked like it was going to be another, let's just chuck it 3-point game, in the first few minutes, in the early part of the first quarter, all of a sudden Tatum just kind of got serious, and then both the Jays got really serious, and then they just took over the game completely. Does Luka do something to Jaylen? Did he stuff him in a locker when they were kids, or like kick his dog or something? Like Jaylen was like playing angry tonight against. I mean, he seemed like he really hated Luka. It's an angry game.
I think it was honestly, John. I think, and this is what I've been waiting for. And I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but I like to see it as often as I can. Jaylen Brown getting up for these big matchups and showing that he can be one of the better two-way players in the NBA. That's what I want to see from Jaylen Brown. As much as I want to, and I've almost resigned myself to the fact that, like, listen, if this guy can just go out and get you 30 a night, just be a bucket, fine. But on the nights where he actually takes on the task of defending the other team's star and does it well and makes it a point to like really make the other guy work, that's when I'm cool with the contract and I'm cool with what the Celtics had to do. And I'm cool with Jaylen Brown. Be that two-way player and everything's going to be gold, baby. And tonight was honestly, it might've been one of his best games, like probably one of his best all-around games as an NBA player. I don't know if that's like saying too much, but I honestly feel that way.
No, I was going to go there too.
For Jaylen?
You saw the impact on both ends. And he has the great block on Luka early, the one on Kleber at the end. And then you talk about the hunting.
We can't talk about Jaylen without the crossover.
The hunting of Luka and making him work. And he still ends up with a tremendous game and a triple-double and all of that. But you saw it wear on him at
tremendous
times.
Game. He was like 10 for 100,
I wouldn't say tremendous. He missed free throws down the stretch.
But Brown made him work. Brown made him work. And he had to fight to keep the Mavericks in at the road because no one else on the Mavs was certainly helping him out there along the way. So it just
He
basically
was
became the
12 of
Luka
30
ISO
with
show.
33 points, and he was
Yeah.
lucky because he
Yeah, I
got
mean,
a few.
four of the misses were on the same possession, but
But he got superstar foul calls too on plays that he barely got touched. So
he got angry. He got a little bitchy. He's kind of a bitch.
he's a
I'll
tough
just say it.
guy. He's a tough guy defending.
Luka.
Brown did a great job with it.
he's
throughout
really
much of this
tough
game.
because he's going to get where he wants to get. He gets to his spots, and he
But
knows how to use his
complains
body.
all the time and
But,
whines and moans and bitches.
Celtics attacked him every single time on offense. It was ridiculous.
They did.
Every time.
I love
Didn't
that.
matter. Loved it.
He was
Didn't
pouting.
matter.
Yeah, he didn't like it. He actually got teed up after
This is
Brown
a stat,
crossed him
huh?
up. That's a hell of a stat. Is that true? I don't have the turnovers in front of me, but I know they.
Blorp said it. That's
It's
my
gotta
source.
be true. Yeah,
that's my source.
I trust Blorp.
That's where I
Yeah,
go to for all
0
my
turnovers for them.
Love
Blorp.
that. Yeah, I mean they had a slow start to this game, Bobby. We were texting about it. I think right off the bat, shots were
3
not
of
falling.
15.
And then Tatum got hot in that first quarter, kept the team in it through one. And then everybody else started to follow suit in the second quarter there. Holiday got in on the action for a bit. He was hitting some shots from the outside. Jaylen Brown picked it up right there. And yeah, this was a really good win. And the way it started, I did not have high hopes after what we had, kind of seen over the last week with some iffy play here. I like how they brought it tonight, and that's again without Porzingis. So you got to mention that as well. One of their best guys not in this one, and so good performance. And I just love what both Tatum and Brown, kind of showed out a little bit tonight. And again, just going back to Brown, the back-to-back possessions on Luka really just kind of humbled him there. I think with the crossover that really embarrassed him. And he was pissed off, and then he got a little jumpy, and Brown got him to bite, and then he got teed up after that, and he sat down, sat his ass down after that.
Got a little jumpy.
See you, John. John got a little jumpy too.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing him take another leap here, Jimmy, into this year, and it didn't seem possible after last year. Didn't seem possible probably after 2 years ago when he had a great season then. So you're looking at him right now and saying, what's possible for him at this point? Like you're seeing the playmaking improve to a high level. You're seeing the defense now probably be about as good as we've ever seen from him. And, it was a topic about 2 weeks ago now, but now I don't think there's any doubt that he could be in that All-NBA discussion again, Jimmy. And that seemed like it was going to be a one-time thing, weird year where Zion and LeBron and Durant and all these guys didn't play a bunch, so he sneaks into that third team. You're looking at how him potentially being a perennial guy if this is what it's going to be. Obviously, he's going to be an all-star here, but the fact that he's in that mix on this team with the conversations we had early about how is he going to fit in, and he's probably got the toughest adjustment of anyone on this team.
Well, he struggled a little bit with that.
He did. Yeah, and he figured it out. And, I think we saw it in real time that week where the 0 assist games happened. And, he was putting in a lot of work at the shoot-arounds and the practices, doing 3-on-3s with the coaches, just going through those motions, tons of film. I mean, we always had the discussion about just how much work he puts into his basketball skill set. I don't think there's any doubt that he's just gone all in on that. And certainly he's done the underwater workouts, and the weight training's probably for him been absolutely insane, given the muscle he's put on here. But you're seeing the skill set now too. And it's not just the scoring, it's the reads, it's the defense, it's the attention to detail. Those are the things that have put him at another level this year. And we've always debated, John, can he get better in those areas? And I think he has this year.
Are we still talking about Jaylen?
Yeah, I actually didn't even get a word in. Bobby just went on. We thought that you excused yourself from the conversation. We had a ghost ship running for a minute there, John.
Yeah, Bobby, I agree. I mean, look,
Facts, my dog.
No. I mean, I hate kind of throwing around like generalities, like playing with purpose and stuff like that. But really, doesn't it come down to that so often? It's like today is the choice to like play the right way, or and then any knocks in the past would be the freestyling it, coasting, taking some plays off from him and Tatum. The inconsistencies from two superstars. When you're talking inconsistencies, you're talking about the inconsistencies of two all NBA players. It's not that inconsistent. It's just you're expecting the world and you're expecting perfection. And in those moments where you need it, and in the big moments, and sometimes in big games or the playoffs, when it's not there, everybody goes bananas. But like as far as like evolution goes, it's always been about with both those guys making the right reads. And like the coaches always say it, Mazzulla's obsessed with it. And how many times does he say after games where the box score doesn't match up, made the right read, made the right read, made the right read. That's what it is every time. Do the right thing with the ball. Don't
do the right thing.
Don't go charging into traffic, spinning with no idea where you're going to go, or decide you're going to shoot it regardless of what the defense is doing ahead of time. And you still have those hero ball moments. It's just do the right thing. Do what you need to do in that moment. Make the right decision with the ball and play. And then there's also when Brown decides to play with that snarl, and that knocks him up even another level, because then you get the intensity on both ends. I think at the Harden game last year where he's like, F that, he's getting nothing. And that was one of the best games we've seen him play, because he was fired up the whole time and he's locked in with his focus. So he was a killer tonight.
Yeah, and that's where he's at his best. And I think you're talking about with him in terms of the consistency, putting him in the best positions to succeed. The one individual matchup on defense, I think, is always a good formula for him. That's always been where he's at his best defensively. Yeah. So you're probably doing the schemes in this game to keep him there. And then on the offensive end, it's him in the corner. It's him cutting. It's him catching the ball closer to the basket and going by guys. Grant had no chance on one of those drives. Hardaway, easy matchup for him in the post. I think the post play for him's gone a little bit underrated this year too. Tatum obviously had a great start there. Brown can hit that turnaround. I know you've talked about that, John, just being a great shot for him. And then the finishing, it's always the urgency he uses to get them going in transition. And I don't think anyone will expect this, but his pick and roll numbers are through the roof.
Okay. I don't know. You tell us. You know what I like is this no what?
It says you're muted, Bobby. It shouldn't be. I'm going to unmute you. I can't unmute you. You're going to have to work this out on your own.
Bobby, say something. He's here. He's talking.
I got him now.
Yeah. So
go ahead. You for a split second, your mic muted itself. Go ahead.
What the hell? Wait, what just happened?
Look at this boomer right here. Look at this boomer right here. Look at this boomer.
What is happening?
Amit.
Yeah, so he's coming in at number 2, but he's narrowed the gap with Derek White. 107 for Derek White, 9-1 for Jaylen Brown, which is better than Tatum's 8-7. So his production in the pick and roll has been great this year too, and those are the strides he's made this year. It's really great to see because, again, John, we were hitting the panic button early this year. A lot of people were. It was like, how's he going to fit in on this team?
My mind is all over.
I just got to know where Josue came from. Amit, you got to talk to me. Did you build an audio drop and start dropping it, or did that happen organically?
He said, yeah.
Facts, my dog.
I
now
guess
Jimmy's coming in out of nowhere.
Listen, Amit's just getting funky with things behind the scenes. You know what I love about this? I like the ticker. How about the ticker, guys? I don't even think I noticed that last show, John. The ticker with all the stats going.
Yeah, you're gonna never miss a stat now.
Yeah, Drew Holiday. There it is, 17 points. A quiet 17 from Drew Holiday. 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Plus 19.
This will be the new show. We'll just read through the ticker.
Yeah. As Amit just blasts sound bites of us.
I'm afraid to talk.
Wow.
So is he all NBA, John? Is he gonna be all
What?
NBA again?
I don't care.
You don't care? Wow.
No, Bobby, I'm not their spokesperson. I don't give a crap who makes all NBA.
But if he was struggling, you'd be all over him,
either.
John.
No, because it doesn't matter. Bobby, we went over this. When Marcus Smart won all defensive and you thought that meant something, it doesn't. It's an award. It doesn't matter. Like, nothing
He won
matters.
Defensive Player of the Year.
It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't make him better. He's the same guy we watched, whether people voted him in or not. It's how they play. The votes don't matter. Whether they make all NBA, who cares? That's not important. It's not important. I don't care if Tatum makes it. I don't care if anybody makes it.
Yeah, John, you're not gonna vote for him though.
It's a reflection on how he's
Did you
playing.
tweet
though.
your All-Star vote?
It's a reflection on how he's playing, and the way he's playing now, most importantly, is
fraud.
helping them win night in and night out. The defensive, I heard Max on the radio saying he's not getting enough credit for the defense, and it's true.
Look,
he came into the year
I wouldn't
asserting
fuck,
that was going to be central to his game, and he's done it.
I wouldn't say he's done it consistently though. There hasn't been a bunch.
I
of
think
games
he
there where
has.
He's improved. I think he's putting a little bit more effort into it than he used to. But if you think that his ceiling is one of the all defensive teams, then he's nowhere close to that. He's been nowhere close to that.
Yeah, it depends on how.
All NBA mattered for one reason only. Well, guys, we all did this.
Money.
We were on the same team. It mattered to lock Jaylen in, to get his money, to make it so leaving Boston was far less of an option than if he didn't. Because if he didn't get it, you might have had a situation with him in a contract year. It mattered hugely last year. Now it's just awards. It doesn't matter. I don't even know why we're talking about whether he gets it or not. It just doesn't matter.
Because it wasn't on his season.
Well, yeah,
because
exactly.
honestly, like you want idiot voters out there to be like, wow, their scoring is down. They're probably not as good this year, because that means they're playing better because they're sharing the ball and the team is winning more. Like what I care about is the 34 wins. Like that's what you're supposed to care about. The rest
but
of
they're
it
not going
doesn't
to
matter.
win. They're not going to win if Tatum and Brown aren't playing like all NBA type basketball. It's probably what Bobby's saying.
Yeah.
Now it's also, again, it's a little bit too early in the year to talk about all NBA teams. We haven't even gone to the All-Star break yet. But I think that he is trending in that direction, Bobby, where he's going to make a good case for one of those teams. I don't know which one.
The ring is the thing. This
there's
is
a lot
not
of talent
TV
in the league.
slander.
And that's the other thing, back to the money point. I know none of us were going to make a big deal about the money, but if he's playing at that level, that makes him worth the money. I know we always said, the money's just a formality.
Oh, so again, if he has a great year, plays exactly the way he's playing now, and people don't vote him all NBA, that matters to you for some reason, he's still the same guy. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's
him
about being in the
playing
mix.
well is all that matters. I'm so confused by this.
I don't think Bobby cares about the award. He's just saying, is he playing at that level?
Yeah, he's in the mix. He's going to get votes. He's going to be there, and maybe he'll make it. And
maybe, but people might look at it and say,
reflection on what he's done.
He's
if
scoring
he does.
less and not make it. It doesn't matter. He's playing better. Like that's what matters. He's playing better. It doesn't matter if voters recognize it or not.
Yeah, I mean, we're basically saying the same thing. And back to the defensive point, Jimmy.
Damn it, John.
41% opponents shoot against him this year, which is the best on the team by 2 points over Porzingis. And that's on 10 shots a game that he's defending. So
he's definitely improved on that side.
That's
Jake.
it. That's it.
He would be a great
Bobby,
appearance. Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a bad defender. What I'm saying is maybe I'm a little bit behind on seeing it than you are, because you have an astute basketball mind. But I don't look at him and say he's shutting people down yet. I just don't do that. Now, again, not to take any. I don't want to have to bring Jaylen Brown down tonight, because I think I just said earlier that I think it was one of his best all-around games. What I saw tonight makes me or reminds me what he is capable of on a nightly basis, second night of a back-to-back, going up against one of the best players in the NBA, arguably the best. You could argue that he's the best scorer in the NBA, or best all-around, one of the best all-around players in the NBA. He's averaging a damn near triple-double, Luka is. And yeah, he put up numbers tonight, but he had to really work for it. And I think there were a lot of points in this game where he was working so hard and I think it actually hurt the Mavs in ways, because they got away from, going to other guys. Again, you've got other options out there, and Kyrie and things like that. So I don't know. I just felt like Jaylen Brown had a great game tonight, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to start extrapolating it, if that's a word, into the season.
Okay. I want to get to, it's kind of interesting Jimmy says that, because it plays into something that Bobby texted us prior to the show, which was something that Joe Mazzulla said regarding tonight. And, I wonder whether or not there was maybe a message delivered after last night's win. And we'll kind of go into that. First off, and I hate to get heavy, but I think it's important, and I wanted to wait till there were more people in the room here, we here at the Garden Report would like to extend our condolences to the Kide family. Colleague of ours and a friend of CLNS Media, Doug Kide, who covers the Patriots for the Boston Herald. Doug and his family suffered an unspeakable tragedy as their daughter, Hallie, passed away over the weekend after a courageous 9-month battle with AML. That's a type of cancer. She passed away 3 months short of her 3rd birthday. Needless to say, no child or parent should ever have to endure something like this. And the Kide family needs all the love and support they can get right now. And you can help. There's a link in the chat to the GoFundMe page of the Kides. And I don't know if you have that. We can put it up here. But what we will also say, and you can go directly to the link. And there it is right there. All Super Chat donations go to the Doug Kides family. Or you can go directly to the link yourself with GoFundMe. .com help, and you can see the website right there, and we'll leave it up for a little bit. But any donations you make here, all proceeds from tonight will go to the Kide family. They need love and support, so open up your hearts, Garden Report family, and open up your wallets and show them the love here. And as I said, whether you go directly to the GoFundMe page or you make it here, we will send the donation care of the Garden Report family on everyone's behalf here. So again, wanted to throw that out there. And I will leave this up for a minute here if anybody wanted to see and write it down. And again, this is Doug, and this is his daughter, Hallie, survived by his mom and sister, Olivia. And it's really tough stuff.
Really tough. Wow, thank you, Dudley chipping in with $100
Thanks,
just
Dudley.
like that. Yeah, guys. Every last cent that the Garden Report gets from this is all going to go to that fund. And I know Doug just from covering sports, and he's a great dude. And I just feel obviously thoughts and prayers are going out to him and his family. Every little bit helps. It's not going to obviously change what's happened, but anything that we can do to help them move forward is the least we can do. And we appreciate it, guys.
We appreciate it from all of you. Whether it's a super chat, you're here directly. It's easy to do that. Obviously, YouTube takes a cut off of that. You want to go direct and go right to the GoFundMe page. It's all good. But as I said, anything that comes into the show tonight, even if you missed this message and you just sent out a super chat because you wanted to make fun of me, I'm sending that to the Kide family too. So again, thank you all for contributing, and God bless you all.
Yeah, and if you're watching back, if you're not watching live, just go straight to that link. If you guys are watching it tomorrow morning, if it's what day is it? Yeah, Tuesday morning. Go to that link and you can do it.
It's never not a good time. So thank you very much for everybody
Thank
there.
you.
We'll send out another reminder as well later on the show, but we do appreciate it. We see stuff coming in, and every little bit helps. So we really do.
Can you post the link in the chat, John, or is it just in the screen?
That's from the chat. It's in there.
Oh,
It's
okay.
pinned. It's pinned to the chat as
cool.
well. So back to the game, and again, we do appreciate everybody here. And Amit, can you pull that off the screen? I want to go back to just
They
the
keep
regular
saying
stuff here.
post a link in the chat, so I don't know.
And if you can post it in the chat as well, that would be great. And if anyone wants to go directly there, please do.
I'm
Yeah.
a little
How
buried
did
under the lower 30.
We're getting some nice donations. Thanks,
Amit,
guys.
how did we get this way again?
Kyle Richards, M Sus, Must 31, Soda Pop,
There we go.
Jake Eisenberg.
Thank you, everybody. Kyle.
Impressive stuff, guys. Impressive. We really
guys.
do. I mean, they will appreciate it. So back to what we were talking about earlier, and we will get to the game, and we do appreciate it. And by all means, spread the love and share with whoever you want. If you see it, you saw that post on Twitter, repost it, tweet it to everyone else. Anything you can do, as we said, it all helps. So we do appreciate it, and I'm sure the Kide family will as well. Before the game, Bobby, you mentioned something here about, and I want to pull up the quote from Joe. Joe Mazzulla pregame urging the Celtics to avoid playing into, quote, narratives. And it said, the quote here was the one thing we talked about, and we showed it on our screen the other day. I don't know what that, but I guess he's talking about it. I don't know. Film or anyway, the NBA is full of narratives.
Yeah, it must be film.
You have a choice to fall into a narrative at any time. Dog days of January, it's the second night of a back-to-back. There's always a narrative to latch onto. We've got to make the choice every day to play the right way, and most of the time we do. Sometimes we don't. That's as close as we've heard Joe Mazzulla come into saying, not always happy with the effort of these guys. And so I guess it makes you feel a little better if you were in the annoyed camp when they kind of pissed away a lead against Houston, or you watched them not show up against Milwaukee on the second night of a back-to-back. And you've seen, a week or so of not the best, not the best efforts, and every reason to lose this game. And Papa Nick throwing it out here as well.
There you go.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Yep. So.
Yeah, that quote shot off. It felt like
he was setting the table for a bad game tonight, or I warned them, don't have a bad game tonight. Like, don't do
Remember
it.
Ime,
Guys.
his first year, there was a game, I forget which one, the shoot around. They had the bad shoot around, and after the loss, he was like, I knew we were gonna lose tonight right from the shoot around. And obviously, they didn't have a shoot around today with the back-to-back, but there's something he obviously sensed, maybe from recent games, as you mentioned there, John, wasn't going right in terms of their approach and habits, or just consistency this month as a whole. Maybe, of course, I was on the ground there in Milwaukee that day that they lost that awful game and everybody got benched at halftime. And, his message that night was the assertive, this doesn't matter. These guys show up, these guys compete, nothing to see here. So a little bit of a shift in that sense. And obviously, I think you got it there, John, a message pregame that I'm sure he shared with the team as well to not show up, if you know what I mean. Like, you better show up and do the right things in this game. And it was scary early, right? Because they were just launching shots. They were missing. They weren't putting up the best individual efforts they weren't putting up the best individual efforts across the board on the defensive end there. So this got off to a shaky start, a scary start, but they self-corrected pretty fast. And I am interested to see what Joe says afterward. It was kind of the turning point there. I know they got the ball inside to Horford. I think Brown did on that bucket that kind of killed the cold streak there midway through the first. Tatum didn't score until about 9 minutes into the game. So I'm sure those were all big factors here. And shots going down certainly always helps this group, John, in terms of their intensity on both ends and their commitment. So that swung in a big way. They started this one 3 of 15 and then went like 60% the rest of the way. So it was interesting to me. I don't know. What did you take from it, Jimmy?
I'm curious if Jimmy's ever going to look up at this comment on the screen.
Oh my God. $200? Hey, it was worth it, I guess.
It's worth it.
It was worth it.
That's the one clip we can't find. Seriously.
It was scrubbed from the internet. Didn't actually happen, but for the sake of the donation, I will definitely let that one go. I'll let that one fly. No, I was just looking down because, sorry, Bobby, I'm not going to be able to comment on what you just said because I wasn't paying attention at all. But I was looking down on my phone because I had tweeted I needed the somebody to create the Jaylen Brown crossing Luka into the shooting stars meme, and somebody did it. So I had to retweet that, and I got a good laugh at that. So
yeah, we're talking about Joe pregame.
Joe pregame commenting on narratives.
Jimmy hasn't listened.
There it is. I was
Okay.
listening. Relax over there, Mr. Commenter guy over here now. What do I think of it? I don't know. I mean, we talked about it, I think, via text briefly. It felt like he was seeing the signs of maybe his guys slipping a bit. And I don't know if this was his inadvertent way of calling them out in a way, but I didn't see it tonight. I mean, he said something about dog days of January, back-to-backs. It's easy to, I think what he was saying was don't listen to the excuses. Don't let those.
And everybody gave them that out, right, John, from a media perspective? I mean,
John was the one. John was rolling out the red carpet for a half-ass play the last couple of games. He was rolling
And our
with
guy-
it, nothing to be concerned
If
about.
you ask the chat, I've just been burying good performances. Okay, people hear what they want to hear. I'll just tell you that.
No, and John, that our guy Gary that day in Milwaukee, and Gary doesn't let anybody off the hook. He wrote that it was a schedule loss, and they got to do something about the schedule to not have games in that spot. So everybody across the board was giving them an excuse for the schedule in the last couple slip ups
I don't
there.
excuse the schedule. Oh God, is this a new saying? This is on the chart. This is on the tourney.
I gotta find that video. It was so funny because if I remember right, we all just kind of ignored it, and like everyone just slowly started laughing.
No, this
We
is
were
exactly what happened. This is what happened. I moved in my chair, the same chair that I'm sitting in right now, but I had I don't know what I was wearing for pants. It made a fart sound, and I didn't know that. I wasn't thinking. Oh, like obviously because I was talking at the time, I think, and then all of a sudden the chat started to fill up with people did you guys hear that? Somebody just farted. And then I go look at the chat, and you guys start laughing, and everyone's saying that I farted. That's what happened. That's the backstory of
We'll
the
get
fart,
Ahmed
the
on that
infamous
one. We
fart.
gotta find that episode.
Yeah, I mean, everyone in the history of leather chair farts has blamed the leather chair. So I mean, it's.
I mean,
That
listen.
move weird.
If I wanted to let one rip, I would just do it. I wouldn't. It's just a couple of guys here just talking about sports. Happens
We'll
all the
find
time,
it.
I'm sure.
He would admit it, John, if he did it.
I would admit it,
Okay.
but I'll
Yeah.
take it for the $200.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll find
Donating
it.
$200, of course.
We will. We'll find it for the $200. We'll go find it if we have to. Real quick, shout out
We should
FanDuel,
find
our
it,
sponsor here at the Garden Report, official wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network, and official partner of the NFL. Follow Zannis to the promised land. I said Kansas City Chiefs, and the money line was the bet of the weekend, and the Chiefs came through. Crying Buffalo fans.
I lost my
boy. All you have to do is go to fanduel.com/Boston. Once again, fanduel.com/Boston. Deposit 10, bet 5. Doesn't matter win or lose. You get your 150 in bonus bets. Restrictions do apply. It's not real money. It's bonus bets, but you can use it to win real money. Check out the website here for restrictions. And go to fanduel.com/Boston to sign up today. Once again, the Celtics defeat the Mavericks, and I'm not going to go win of the year, but maybe it was. This was a great win.
It was about
great
as feel good of a win as you had.
This was a
year.
great
Not
win.
win of the year. It's not win of the year.
It was a really solid win given all of the circumstances and where you thought this might be going. And Porzingis not playing. A really, really solid win.
Yeah, and you played with some real toughness and physicality in this game. We always talk about this team asserting its will, and whether it was the blocks on the defensive end and the effort switching and guarding one-on-one on that side of the ball, or going downhill. And I thought they got Brown and Tatum in some really good spots to just get by guys or back them down or just tear through them for easy baskets here. It was an impressive performance just from a physicality and a will standpoint, John, because this team does have size. They do have the muscle, at that 3 and 4 spot between Brown and Tatum to be able to overpower guys. And that's how we want to see them play. You look at the shot charts tonight, and luckily for you, I can't put them up in this new platform here, but
you can.
It was all in the paint. Brown, Tatum, you can just imagine.
The difference.
Makes all over the paint.
So again, this is going to be, people will take this and decide that it's negative, and it's not. But the difference between the good and the Brown bad games oftentimes comes down to playing with aggressiveness and taking it directly to the paint and making stuff happen versus, what you see. And again, what you've seen from Tatum. And what's amazing was Tatum was playing great, and then he just had that little spell for 2 or 3 games where he just kind of fell back in love with the pull-ups and, kind of took the lazy way out. It takes more work to break guys down and,
to drive it into the paint and make the smart play, take the shot when you have it. But when they're doing that, they're just better. The ball moves better. They're attacking. They're getting to the free throw line. They're finding open shooters. They're knocking down threes. It's just so much better than whip it around the perimeter, maybe, or just run one action and one guy just jacks the first open three that they get. That's always the difference. They just played more aggressive tonight. And so you see the difference. So when we make an issue when they're not, it's like, well, you see a night like this, and it's like, this is kind of the better version, you know?
I mean, again, like I didn't see them forcing as many shots as I saw in previous games, taking like contested step backs and just ill-advised quick threes. I mean, Holiday took 12 threes, but he went 5 of 12. So, I mean, I'll take that. But as far as Tatum and Brown are concerned, it was just and again, they didn't shoot great from three tonight either. It's not like all of a sudden they found their outside shot, but I didn't feel like they were only looking for that shot. They weren't trying to shoot themselves back into the game. They did it by being aggressive. They did it on the defensive end, Bobby, too. And I think that was the difference, getting stops, getting out in transition, being physical. I think you already mentioned that, being physical. I thought that they like made a point to attack Dallas and get them frustrated, You can get Kyrie and Luka frustrated very quickly. Knock them down. Let them start to look over to the refs.
Both of them were.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was the perfect way to attack them tonight. And maybe they did a little bit of exploiting them in doing so.
And it's an easy team to exploit. And this is what Joe talks about too, John, as much as we get on his approach. It depends on the matchup. And this is a matchup where you were able to go against guards around the perimeter. Grant certainly a smaller four.
Yeah.
So you have size advantage across the perimeter.
You're attacking Luka. So on the perimeter there, that first line of defense.
You letting them off the hook by pulling up from three.
It's crazy. You never do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't recognize those matchups, or they're settling for the pull-ups over the top because they can get separation. But it's not. I mean, there was a couple. I mean, from both guys, bully ball moments, just straight physicality. Kyrie had him. Jaylen had him. Tatum had him. There was one time Kyrie tried to match up with him, and Tatum literally just powered him down from all the way down to the block. There was nothing humanly possible Irving can do. Usually, when you use those advantages, and you use that to your advantage, like as you said, it's letting him off the hook doing anything different. It's a bucket or a foul if I do this. Just do it. And they did it over and over and over again. They attacked those guys. It was relentless.
And we've hit on their approach offensively all year, really for 2 years here. And it's not just us. I mean, even like analytical, writers like Zach Lowe are looking at them and saying, why are they passing up so many shots at the basket? Not just from a standpoint of you're right there, just go up, but also the free throw issue, which I think is probably their biggest issue as a team right now, is their inability to get to the free throw line consistently. And that is directly tied to their desire, as a team, and Joe's philosophy of get to the basket and kick out,
and Joe's crazy fear over what happens going the other way, and he's not wrong. But again, I think not all missed layups are created equal. You're under the basket and you go up and you miss it. That's fine. It's the flying out of control stuff where when you lose
falling
the guy,
out of bounds,
falling out of bounds, and then Tatum takes 40 minutes to get up. It's like those are automatic buckets going the other way. We've seen that a million times, so he's not wrong in that regard. But it's just playing in control and playing within yourself. If you're doing that, it's fine. It's fine.
30 free throw attempts tonight, by the way, which probably has to be a season high for them. We're right up there.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, look at this boomer right here. That's probably in the bracket this year. What would you say?
Look at this boomer on repeat.
And that's what it is. It's a body control issue. It's weird, and it's not all body control. It's body control. It's really foul hunting. It's that extra embellishment to get the foul, whether or not the shot got off clean. That's what kills you.
Look at this! I think someone found the fart video.
Oh, wow.
I love it. We'll have to go look for it right after
show
this.
versus Orlando 2021. Amit?
That sounds right.
Preseason.
we
It
got
doesn't
20
even count. It's a preseason show. You can fart on a preseason show. Allegedly.
You're just
Yeah.
ramping up.
Yeah.
Attaboy. We found it. It's been found. We have found it. Let me ask you guys this. How are we supposed to feel about, well, I'll tell you in a minute.
He paid us too to tell us that. Thank you.
Yeah. Did he?
He did.
Well, it's going to charity. It's for a good cause tonight. Guys, tonight's the night where you want to get those super chats in.
You do. You do. Get the super chats in. Again, if you missed it, we'll say it one more time because again, we do appreciate everybody who flooded the donations.
You can literally say something mean about John, and it's all for charity tonight, guys.
You say it about me, I will put it up in the show. Any super chat donations you send to us will go to the Kide family. As I mentioned, the Kide family had suffered a terrible tragedy. Their daughter and our friend Doug Kide, colleague, works the Patriots beat. Their daughter Hallie passed away after a 9-month battle with cancer. And they have a GoFundMe page. You can deposit there directly, and I urge you to do that. But if not, any super chats you send to us, all the proceeds that would normally go to CLNS Media, we will send directly to the Kide family on your behalf. So again, we've gotten several generous donations, and I'm sure
we're up over 500 so far.
Yeah, I'm sure
Great.
the Kide family is appreciative of that, or will be. And again, every little bit helps. So anything that you want to send here, we will send it along on behalf of the entire Garden Report family, or as we said, go directly to the GoFundMe link and make a contribution yourself. We do appreciate that, but that's what we were talking about. And as Jimmy said, of course, you can say whatever you want at this point. Attach a super chat to it. We'll put it on the screen, and we're happy to have it. I wanted to ask here,
real
what's
quick,
that?
some quotes coming out of Dallas. Jayson Tatum said he can't repeat what he said to Grant Williams after the block at the halftime buzzer.
Nice.
Asked about playing some center. I didn't think we were that small. I'm 6'9", 225. You feel me?
He's 6'9", confirmed. Okay. We can stop saying he's
now
6'9".
he's saying 6'9", but
He said that earlier in the year. I love it.
I know.
10 pounds. Remember, he put on 10 pounds.
10 pounds of height.
Yeah, he got strong.
It's confirmed. Brad confirmed he just made it up to talk about how big he was. He was just embellishing on purpose. He literally confirmed it, and he says he and Tatum laughed about it. Shut up, Johnny. 6'10", slander. Whatever.
Well, if you're 6'10", 230, go to the rim.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? The thing is with him, I've said it on the show a number of times this year.
He has a little extra burst this year, too. Forget the height and the weight.
So much better going to the rim this year. He's got more moves to the rim.
Strong. Oh, my God. He's so much.
That move he put on Gordon on Friday, the one bucket.
Tough right now. Yeah, like he's much tougher.
And he can get there just like a quick spin, a fake, and he's just there at the rim.
He's quicker in his motion despite the added muscle.
Yes, but he's not getting bodied. He's not getting bumped off his spot.
It's like a burst.
Yeah.
Burst.
No, he has a first step.
Squats. It's the squats, man. It's
different.
Bobby, first step is better.
What it's about with the squats, man.
Yeah, the bar there, yeah.
You know all about it.
Let me ask you this question. How are we supposed to feel about Grant Williams?
Laugh, chuckle, howl.
I wouldn't laugh.
Cough. You wouldn't, but I would. Well, yeah.
Despite the struggles, despite this game, I still feel like you could use him. You're looking for that player now, Jimmy. Brad Stevens said it.
Nobody in history ever said you can't use Grant. They just didn't want to pay him $20 million. That's all it ever was.
Bobby, he's not worth $20 million, my friend, or 15, whatever he's getting.
Whatever
he's making, like 13. Yeah,
You're not. I mean, okay. If the argument is, could you use him? Sure, any team could use him, but is anyone saying, "Damn it, I wish we had Grant Williams right now"? God, I loved what I saw last night. I wish we had Grant Williams on this team. Who is saying that in the NBA right now, Bobby? Who? Even the Mavericks aren't saying that right now.
Yeah, and they certainly expected more out of him as a starter this year. Now he's coming off the bench.
Thanks,
Just in terms
You
of
are.
having a rotation guy who can guard multiple positions, who can hit threes, and he's still probably at about 37% for the season, despite the big extended slump he's in here. That's better than what you have at that spot, and it's better than what many teams have at that spot. And again, it's not an exorbitant amount of money. They didn't pay him $20 a year. So
Who don't they have if they keep? What doesn't happen if they kept Grant, Bobby? What doesn't happen?
No Jrue Holiday.
Okay, then.
I
So
think you
then
could still do Holiday.
argument's over.
You're just paying extra tax, and that's all it really came down to. And maybe you're able to do something different instead of that.
Yeah.
But right now, Jimmy, you're just scrapping together that position with minimum guys, and you're gonna hope that you can find a replacement level guy there if O'Shea's not able to step
Grant
into it.
ended his career signing in going to Dallas. He should have taken what the Celtics offered the year before, because here you're part of you're riding the coattails of superstars possibly on their way to a championship and multiple appearances and constant national televised games and prominent. Yeah, and you're going to people's weddings as Tatum's +1.
You're the limo driver to all these cool places. Now you're just Kyrie's punching bag.
And the other thing is, and this might be part of the little bump they've went through this year that they've achieved, he always wanted to do more, and that was obvious the beginning of last year, all those attacking closeouts and dribbling to the basket and just doing a little bit too much with the ball in his hands. That's kind of what he's done down there in Dallas, and it's been similarly ineffective in his role there. So Ime said it a couple years ago. His best game was always just a narrow impact.
And one basketball, and you got +1 basketball. That's great. That's Grant Williams' league when he leaves. Grant
Williams is gonna start a new company, like a new brand,
starring in +1.
+1.
No, Bobby, you're right.
We're not talking about his plus minus either.
What's funny is the team might be a Grant Williams away from having no needs, right?
Yeah.
But it's all a value thing. It's you can't pay for everything, and at the end of the day, it wasn't
look at
that
Friday.
much money.
You could have used him on Friday against Jokic.
You could use him all the time. You can use decent players, rotation players, but reality is he is what he is, which is on a really good team, a 7-8 guy, and on a team like Dallas, which is kind of mid playoff team, he's kind of still a 6th man. He's outside looking in. He got bumped from the starting lineup. So I mean, that's who he is. That's who he's always been. I think the argument was over what's his ceiling. I know you talked about him as a Horford replacement, and I just think you just
he's
build
a great shooter. He really is.
You just build a different type of team.
You don't have to do this. We don't have to do this anymore, Bobby.
You do.
And by the way, I can't stand the fans.
No, Bobby, it's not your fault.
Bobby, the contract's expired. You don't have to do this.
And by the way, I can't stand the fans who the second the guy leaves out the door, and this happened with Smart to some degree too. Oh, he wasn't that good anyway.
No, Bobby, we all said it while he was here. You were just the only one who didn't. On this show, you could find many, many long clips of us saying he's not worth the money. He's not good enough. Don't pay him. He stinks. And a lot of other hurtful things that we don't like to say, but needed to be said probably.
Just remember, though, 2 years ago, Game 7 against Milwaukee, you would have been done in the second round if it wasn't for him. And there were other spots, too, where he really came through.
Again, Bobby, it's not to say that he never hit a shot in his life or that he wasn't, successful in bursts and they wouldn't have some, role in the team. He did. But he also went through really, really bad stretches and long droughts. He was benched. He was DNP'd, CD'd for a bit last year. And at the end of the day, the team made a decision that they weren't going to pay him 13, 15, 17, whatever it was million. And I would say, as of right now, it looks like it was the right call. I guarantee.
So, okay. And that was the thing. It's were you going to go to those levels for Grant? The conversation we were having around him was, and he had that stretch and he's shooting it. It's oh, Grant's going to get the bag. Every time he'd have a good game, people in the chat would be 20 million. That became a joke. That became the joke. It's not anti-Grant stuff. It's just kind of what did you want to pay the guy?
He did want 20 million. That's right. Yeah.
So that's what it became about. My question is, there's at
He's
least
a role
piece of me-
player.
That's what I thought. Like, look, I always
Is he
thought
replacement level?
at best he's
Yes.
better than that. He's better
Okay.
than that. But my
So I think we agree there.
there was
Borderline
at least a piece of
replaceable.
me that wondered. There was a piece of me that wondered, can he prosper elsewhere to the point that you're going to be like, kind of let like, not us like no one's ever going to be close to star level or anything like that. What if you let your PJ Tucker go, or that guy who could be that guy that everybody wants and everybody needs, but not everybody can get, and you let him go and he's just that guy for another 10 years. Be like, you always feel like I could use a Grant. Or is he like really mid or less than mid? And I've always been conflicted on that, I really have been, because part of the time I think like this guy's just a bum, and others I think like this guy could be a really important contributor. And I'm still torn on it.
And we had
But
that experience in Boston 2020.
there was part of
he
me
was-
that I was wondering when he goes, what happens?
2020, his rookie year, he was such a good defensive role player off the bench that year. He was playing some center for them as a rookie into the East Finals. 2021, an absolute no-show. He was DMP all that year, not a part of that playoff rotation at all against the Nets where they lost, and they needed a big to step up that year. And then 2022 was his best year, and then 2023, another weird year filled with DMPs and
Please,
just
no more
forcing
recap.
the issue.
I know.
Yeah, and then what did he do in the playoffs, Bobby? You want to talk about the playoffs? What did he do last playoffs, Bobby?
I think we all agreed when he went at Jimmy and everybody threw him under the bus. That wasn't great.
I actually will say this. I gave Grant credit at the time for doing it, and I still do. I thought the team was a bunch of.
It was ridiculous how they
I thought
responded
they were.
to that.
I thought they were little babies. Let's leave it at that. And Grant was the only one that really had a spine and had a backbone and didn't say, "Oh, don't poke Jimmy Butler. Don't wake up the boogeyman." That wasn't the attitude you
But
needed.
you know
to have.
why?
He just wasn't. He right message, wrong messenger. We talked about it.
You're 100% right, and you
How
were
can you
right
say
then.
that as
That's
his
exactly
teammate?
it. Because
Right
everyone's
message,
like,
wrong messenger,
everyone's
and
like,
now he's in Dallas, and there's no messenger, and he's just gonna fade into oblivion.
Grant was the human eye roll, like
Right.
that's just what he was. It's just like
His
I
own
don't think he was.
teammates, like
They were like,
basically,
oh
Yeah.
god, man.
yeah, it kind of became a running joke, unfortunately for him.
You tolerate him, like we said, he was your buddy,
Great guy, nice
your
guy,
buddy who
Sure.
everybody thought like, what's up with this guy? And you're like, he's cool, but you got to defend him.
fringe
Like
guy.
that's who Grant was. But when he's doing that stuff, you're just like, oh man, chill.
Mind if I bring my friend? He's cool, and then like Grant shows up.
By the way, East Finals, he shot
And
48.
he's not cool.
This guy steal over here.
By the way, East
He's
Finals,
totally
he shot,
chill. Like he'll just like.
He's fine. Just get a couple beers in him. He's fine.
yeah.
By the way, after not playing the entire playoffs before, he shot 48 from the field and 43 from three in the East Finals. Big game 3.
Okay.
Bobby's still
Bobby's
pulling
got
out
the game
single
logs
games.
going right now.
Because again,
There he is. Small
think it's
sample size. This is back.
so because he didn't play ever before, and I think we all agreed last year that it was ridiculous he wasn't part of the rotation at all. So listen, it's worked out. The contract's not looking good so far, and the Celtics have better.
That's what you pay
in his
players like
spot.
that. The 12-13 is fine. It's
Yeah.
fine.
So you got Porzingis effectively in his spot now alongside Horford, and then you've put Kornet in that depth role. So it worked out. But I still think in terms of that 8th, 9th spot.
Everyone's like,
And that actually happened at the wedding.
you gonna pass that?
Perfect. It's like, okay, dude.
Yeah,
So let
sorry,
me ask
Bobby.
you this.
Yeah, the good comments are coming in while you're talking. I feel bad. Yeah.
Let me ask
No,
you
it's
this.
okay.
Yes.
Typical.
Is O'Shea and Kornet good enough for that position?
No,
Can
it's
they
not
get by
O'Shea and
with that?
Kornet. It's Hauser
This year,
and O'Shea.
I mean, shit. What's
Well,
what's
Hauser's
your
still
record?
Hauser.
No, but Hauser didn't exist when Grant was here. That's the point. The
Well,
minutes.
Grant was DMP too.
I know, but the minutes, and you're
It
right,
was
it was kind of
Brogdon
a flip-flop,
effectively, yeah.
but it defaulted fully to Hauser this year is what I'm saying is
Yeah.
anything you're missing in Grant, Hauser ate up a lot of those minutes, I think.
Right, and he's defending well in isolation. He's doing a good job there, and I guess that is a good comparison because he's going to be that seventh guy off the bench for this team. You know, they may go 8 in some spots, but in a playoff rotation, if they're going down to 7 guys, you have to think it's going to be Hauser there. And Pritchard, I thought, who we didn't mention tonight, was fantastic in this game, and that bench continues to give you quite a bit. And I think everybody's just sitting here. I watched the pregame show tonight on NBC, and they were sitting there too, saying, "You just stand pat with this roster. It's pretty good. They've done an amazing job so far. The bench has been really good." And you're just sitting there, and you're like, "Is that going to translate to the playoffs?" And I know a lot of that is going to be solved by just sitting these guys down or playing them 10 minutes and not having them be big factors. You're going to just lean on your top 6 for most of the playoffs. But one guy misses a night, all of a sudden Hauser's like 25 minutes in a playoff game.
Pritchard and Hauser worry me in the playoffs of total shutdowns for sure. But the thing is, there's no sense in worrying because you can't get better than them with the assets that you have at the trade deadline. Realistically,
is it impossible?
Look, if you can, you do. You're selling out. If all it's going to take is picks and whatever crap salary matching to get you somebody who can insert themselves into your 7 spot in your rotation, no question about it. If it's a definitive, oh my goodness, this person's an automatic 20+ minute a night rotation player, you absolutely do that this year. There's not even a question. But I don't know that you can find that. But if you do, you give the picks, a couple second rounders, another first if you have to, depending on the caliber of the player, and whatever salary, and you get it. No question. No question.
I agree.
But I don't know that you can. Yeah.
I only kind of I when it comes to Grant, if we're still talking about Grant, I agree with the last super chat that he would be like kind of like an asset to have against some of those teams that are big down the middle. The Bucks, the Nuggets, Philly.
And they've done a good job with that, with Holiday and some others. But
they have.
I think it says a lot about this roster that you go into that game against Jokic and you're like, is Holiday going to guard him? And then all of a sudden it's Kristaps and they're just trying to let him get his, but then he's tearing them up at that spot. And now you see what Embiid's doing tonight. And it's like, oh, one less guy against him. So he was a specialist, John. He was becoming a very expensive specialist for what he was giving you, especially on this roster. And I get why, teams do it all the time.
At it, Bobby, by the end.
Yeah, I mean, his defense regressed a little bit. I think that was a little overstated last year. I mean, the whole team was so screwed up defensively, in my mind, just in terms of connectivity. But his numbers definitely took a hit in the isolation. But it's just a good piece to have. And I love Brissett. I really do. I hope they put him in some more challenging defensive positions to just see what he's made of in those spots. And I think they have in recent weeks. And they're getting good stuff from him. He's had a really good season so far. He's not the shooter Grant is, but the cutting and the defense at the 4 and everything else has just all been rock solid so far. The offensive rebounding too, just incredible from him. So if that keeps going, I don't think you're thinking about it, along with Porzingis' impact and Horford off the bench effectively being Grant. But as we've said all along, one injury strikes in the playoffs and you're all of a sudden looking at your depth going, and they've done a good job in the regular season kind of preparing for those situations. But as we know, it's a little different in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, again, no team can survive an injury to a star player and win. But, I mean, the Celtics are uniquely positioned due to how much talent they have to lose a guy. But, again, then it gets thin. The replacement level of the minutes that you're going to give up if you lost somebody –
I think they're
pretty significant. Like Hauser in the starting rotation because he's forced in there for whatever reason is bad. That's bad. You're not going to win a series against a really good team with something like that going on.
And that would be a disastrous scenario. You're sticking in Horford if one guy goes down, fortunately. So they're in a good spot right now. Again, there's just really nothing to worry about with this team. But you don't want to end up in the playoffs in that kind of situation and go, oh, geez, we didn't give up that extra second rounder for, John Conchar or whoever it might be. And they do, the one thing I do really agree with Brad on and we've kicked around Kelly, right, as kind of the most exciting deadline name. I don't think you can go get a guy who really wants the ball in his hand and is the big scorer. And because the one thing this bench has done well is play their roles. Even Pritchard, like he's just perfectly playing his role right now. Hauser too, Kornet. And that's worked well.
Hauser
staying in
worries
with
me.
the starters.
I've wanted a wing for 2 years. If you can find a wing, get a wing.
Best wings in Mass, they say, are Buffs. Newton, where you live, John. You been?
Say that again.
You been
Buffs
to
100
Buffs?
times.
It's supposed to
You
be
kidding?
pretty damn good. They say it's the best
Buffs
in
is-
Massachusetts. No free
Buffs
ads.
is the
but
Buffs is the best.
I went to this place called the Pub.
Oh,
in
I got to tell you
Somerville,
something
and
about
it was-
Buffs because
it was up there.
people are going to make a mistake who go there for the first time, okay? Because everyone's like, oh, Buffalo Wings, I'm a traditionalist. And yeah, check this out, message from our president, Nick Gelso. 1 follower away from 10K.
Wow.
Whoever gets there gets a photographed picture of Nick
Holding up the 10,000.
That photograph right
with a
there.
martini
10,000.
glass and smoke dangling out of his mouth. Okay. If you go to Buffs, don't make this mistake. Everyone's like, Buffalo Wings, of course, duh. And I'm going to get the Buffalo Wings. And then you see they have other stuff on the menu. I'm like, yeah, I'm a purist. I like my.
John goes off menu. Let me guess, John. You
No,
gotta tell
no,
the secret
no,
password.
no,
John, you gotta click your heels 3 times.
You get the honey hots,
Yeah.
and then you never look back. And then honestly, you'll never order anything
That does
again
sound
in your
good.
life.
Honey
Okay,
hot.
and
Honey hot's my favorite flavor, but I've never been.
honey
above.
hots are insanely good, and then you'll be like, I fought it for a while. I'm like, that's stupid. I like Buffalo Wings. I love them. I'm not getting this honey shit.
I love
And then I got it. I'm like, I'm never gonna order anything else. So get the honey hots if you go to Buffs.
Do they have turkey burgers?
God, Bobby.
Damn it, Bobby. You know where I went for wings?
and haddock. Just get what you're supposed to
Attic
get.
sandwich.
I got to give
Yeah.
a shout out to one other wing place. I got takeout there for a Christmas party I had. The Pub in Somerville. If you don't want to go all the way to Newton, if you don't want to go all the way to Newton and you live in the city, the Pub in Somerville. And I did honey hot, and they were
Newton's
unbelievable.
so far from the city. It's literally off the pike. It touches
It's not
Brighton.
far from the city, but if you go at the wrong time, you're sitting. You're just sitting on the pike. You're sitting in traffic. And
Well,
the
don't
people
go at 3
and not to
o'clock.
mention the people in Newton. Don't get me started about the people. In Newton.
Ugh. we got our problems right now, Newton.
But anyways, yeah, you guys. Is school even happening today in Newton?
Or
Wow,
tomorrow.
Are the kids home?
Yeah.
Wow, things are interesting over at the Zannis household. Hey, let's
pretty
pay these teachers and to get these kids back in school. Okay, that's what it comes down to.
I'm
Fines, they
expecting
need to get paid, John.
I'm expecting a whole apology cam from the chat soon, and luckily I got one last night after the
About what?
Kornet game. I think most fans are ready to admit Kornet's good.
Here it comes.
Oh God, put the Kornet thing up.
Didn't you already
Kornet
try
thing
this
up.
stuff?
Penguin him.
You auditioned this take on text, and I thought I'd beat it.
You
back
buried him.
pretty
You
good.
buried him. Actually, I had to put my phone down for a few minutes, and I was like, "Ooh, I was scrolling. Oh, he really."
Again, you look at the per 36 for him this year: 12
Per
points, 9
36.
rebounds, 2.5 blocks.
That's not
he's
realistic, Bobby.
He can't get that in 36 minutes.
He's never
Would
gonna
he-
play. No, he can't. No, he can't.
Well, what did he do last night?
I don't think he's gonna consistently. He's never gonna play 36 minutes consistently, or even.
No,
close
but
to
that's
it.
not the point. It's that in his limited minutes, he's doing a lot. And last night it was 8, 9, and 23 minutes. So he would have a double-double easily there in 36, plus 3 blocks in 23 minutes. So for a guy who has a pretty narrow role, who's making $1 million, he's been really good. And he's been consistent. I mean,
think
you
for the
haven't looked
money-
at many games this year and said, oh, Kornet's killing them. They can't even play this guy. And that's how people felt about him coming into the year.
I think for the
All right.
money in the role, he is fine. For the money in the role, he is fine.
I'll take it.
He just, Bobby. I mean, let's be honest. He's tall, white, and goofy. He's always.
That's why
gonna-
people
Yes.
thought he was awful.
Well,
No,
he's
it's
a rock
mainly
solid
because
player.
it's mainly because he's not great. That's it.
that's why
it's
he gets.
He's not great, but he's
he gets
good.
cracked on a little bit.
no,
more.
he's not good either.
He's
That's
not
the
good?
point. No, he's not good, Bobby.
He can block 3
He's-
shots in 20 minutes. He's a good passer. He's a really good finisher now at this point. His rebounding's come a long way.
Okay,
I think
but
he's
he's
gotten
like
better, John. I think he's a little bit more polished out there. It feels like
I
he's
just
almost got
think
that
he's-
volleyball tip down. He's just rimmed out a couple.
How many
I
times
think
have
you're
we
just-
talked, John? They got to find these diamonds in the rough. They got to develop talent. Well, they get this guy in 2021, and he's just jacking threes and can't do anything. And here we are in 2024, and he's a capable backup center.
Backup to the backup.
He's a backup to the backup.
Yeah, and
In
if one
a
guy goes down,
perfect-
as we said, he's the backup
assistant
big.
to the backup.
Okay. Yeah. In a real world, Luke Kornet, he has one talent and he's 7 feet tall. Like that's about it. I've gone over the stats. Like you're like, oh, he's killing Kada. Kada has better everything statistically, everything.
Yeah, but Kada can't
It's-
stay in games.
No, because they won't let him stay in games. Bobby,
Right.
we've been over
the
this before.
fouling.
Like, no, but I mean, you're picking one stat that helps make an argument for you. It's a trust issue. But like, Kornet has a better net rating. They have a better offensive rating when he's on the court. He's a better rebounder. He has a better rebound percentage. He has a higher plus minus. His stats are
what you did,
better
Bobby.
across the board. And I still watch Kada, and I'm like, this guy's pretty terrible. So Kornet is worse than that. Like, he's fine, but like, oh, he's a break glass in case of emergency guy. Like, he's not supposed to play. In an ideal world, if you're counting on Luke Kornet minutes, it's not great. I think he's fine for 5 to 8 minutes a game when everybody's healthy. And honestly, sometimes not even necessary. And against certain matchups, it's fine. But I think you're just not taking into account how much you lose with him, and how much, like, I think he's fine. I think he's fine. The argument isn't whether he's passable. Your argument was Luke deserves minutes, and the counter argument was he doesn't deserve minutes, but he's not killing you when he's out there. Can we just leave it at that and then not talk about it
I think
again?
he's had a good season.
But he's not deserving of minutes. I think he's not
He's getting.
killing.
Can we go the? Can we go
When
the
you
prediction
play
board?
those
'Cause
guys-
I think you predicted for the second straight season he'd have more DMPs
I
than
know,
games.
but that was just to tweak you. The point is, when you go to these guys, whether it's Kornet or Cantor or whoever it is, and you
Don't
know,
put him in that sentence.
well, Cantor was clearly a far more accomplished pro than Kornet by miles. Kornet doesn't want to be in a sentence. Cantor doesn't want to be in a sentence with Kornet, not the other way around.
Yeah,
But-
Cantor could actually do things out there.
But it was all a matter of, is the good going to outweigh the bad, or am I going to
Wow.
get killed?
We
It's
found Luke's
always-
burner.
It's always a fear when you go to those situations. It's like, he's been out there for 3 minutes and we're minus 10. Get him out, get him out, get him out. He's not doing that. He's not killing you, which means he's doing okay. When you're the third center and the 9th or 10th guy on a team, that's fine. That he's doing for that. If that's the standard, absolutely fine.
We're fighting between good and fine right now, and I'm gonna hold out on good.
Okay.
At least
Fine.
on what he's done so far. And you might be right,
Okay.
John. He might not be any factor at all in the playoffs. But the way he's playing right now, they might give him a rotation if they're going double big in a series. So we will see.
Bobby,
Uh,
this
yeah.
is the one thing Bobby will stand for is Luke slander.
Listen,
All right,
everybody,
guys.
everybody's been
Yes.
all over him for years. So someone's got to defend him.
Hey, keep fighting the good
Then
fight.
why
my
though?
friend.
Does somebody have to defend him?
Yeah, because everyone thinks he stinks.
Be nice if he would defend somebody.
I like
Hey,
the
he's
guy. I don't
second-
want to
he's
slander
second on
him.
that. He's second on that chart.
I think he's
Who's
honestly
first?
like the glue.
Jaylen?
He's like
Yeah.
a big
Or
glue guy
fifth.
on this team.
He's fifth.
No. No, he's gotten better, which is all you can ask of a guy like that. And I think, it goes for all the guys on the bench this year, because I think across the board you looked at this bench coming in and went, "Ugh," like Pritchard and bigger minutes, Hauser, couldn't play in the playoffs last year. But again, going back to that Wizards game where they were just a disaster and they took the walk of shame, it feels like they've played well in all but a handful of games since, and that's like 30 games ago, 40 games ago now. So I credit to them. It might not translate to the playoffs. That's usually the case with guys like this, But the fact that on a team that's resting a lot, and again, you squeeze out another night Porzingis rest tonight and win. You squeeze out a night of Horford rest last night and win. These guys are important. And even if they just give you good regular season minutes and they have to tighten things up in the playoffs and eliminate these guys, it'll play an important role this year, especially if they end up being the 1 seed.
Okay, fair enough. One more time, I'll solicit donations here to go to the Kide family. Tragic passing of their daughter, 3 months short of her 3rd birthday. Hallie passed away over the weekend. If you can donate any way you can, the GoFundMe page is in the chat. And also, as we said, all proceeds and all super chats of which you have donated generously throughout the night, all proceeds will go directly to the Kide family. Here, we're going to talk for about another 5-10 minutes. And if you guys are nice, we might end the show with a surprise as well. But again, dig deep, Garden Report family. We appreciate all the contributions right now. Please bring it if you can. Here, wrapping up this game and then kind of moving on here. 2-0 to start the road trip. Great. What do we got? Miami coming up next?
That's a fun one. Yeah, Thursday night.
Oh, people wanted a little Horford talk tonight. I think it's fair to talk a little bit about Al, obviously, on nights, particularly nights where he's got to carry the load here.
Did you see him at the end defending Kyrie? I love when he's able to switch on the ones like that.
Yep.
And there are a few centers who do it better. Never mind a 38-year-old, 37-year-old.
Still moves great, man. You know, I don't know what else you're asking for out of this guy.
They could have given him a little help when he got switched with Luka on him, but other than that, I thought he did fine.
Well, that's part of their system, Jimmy. Is they want to guard 1-on-1 when they're switching. So, you're not bringing help. You're not running off of shooters. Remember the East Finals last year where they're just leaving Caleb Martin off the whole time? This lineup for them with Horford at the 5 is still important because you're switching everything out there. And, Porzingis has done it well at points this year, way better than expected out on the perimeter. But this is still the guy, if you want to go to small ball, if you want to go to more switchy defense, he's still capable of that, which is amazing to think about. And you know what I love, John, in this game? They got him that look early at the basket, the and one, I think it was. And we've said it. I think you said it too, Jimmy. Just one shot at the basket a game for him. Like, he doesn't have to be exclusively 3-pointers. Right. And he can go in there against a small and finish off the glass. It's not a strength of his anymore. In fact, it's probably the biggest weakness in his game, the part that's diminished the most. But he can go out there, as you saw tonight, John, and finish against the small.
It's funny because, like, halfway there, he's like, oh, I could get there. And then he did it,
Like a flashback.
He was like, is this cool? Can I do this? And then he's like, it is. What the fuck? I'm freaking looking at this guy.
Joe's not pointing to the bench.
Yeah.
Taking him out for not taking a 3.
Yeah. And it was easy. It looked like easy, and it was because he can still move. He can still get there. Yeah.
So,
exactly.
you do that with Porzingis. You want to be able to do it with some other guys. And we talked about Brown and Tatum's post-up games. Horford has it in him a little bit too. And, he's mostly going to space out there. I love when he's on the floor as a passer. It feels like every time he gets extended run, he's going to have 3 assists. And so his ability to come in, we talked about it. What if a guy goes down in the playoffs? The most likely player of all the starters here would be Porzingis, right? Horford's still able to step in there and give you a lot as a starting center, which is probably one of the biggest luxuries in the league.
Yep. So there's a lot of demand.
Speaking of the league, how about
Jimmy's?
How about Embiid and Cat tonight? How about Embiid and Cat tonight, though?
All right, we'll give you a little of this. Is this true? This is the Kobe 81 anniversary?
Yep.
It is.
That can't be right, is it?
18 years?
Why can't that be right?
Is that right? Is that right?
I saw it tweeted, I think.
I believe it was 18 years ago, right?
I think I saw Grandy tweet it.
So something weird in the water, right? Yeah, January 22nd, 2006, 18 years ago. Kobe goes for 81. Embiid goes for freaking 70. What was this a message against Wemby here?
Yeah.
Should have been.
Like, I mean, this is the one guy.
They only win by 10.
This
I don't
dude.
know. I can't figure that out.
Wemby, by the way, goes for 33 and doesn't even get halfway to what Embiid got tonight, which is bananas.
Crazy. 41 field goal attempts, 24 makes, 41
field
23
goals,
at the line.
23 free throws. I mean, come on.
A
Like,
lot of shots.
this was like personal. Wemby again. Wemby goes for 33 points in 28 minutes. Again, we've talked about his per 36 and where he'd be right now. And he gets absolutely smoked here. And then Cat puts up 41 in the friggin' half against
By the way,
against the Hornets, and then he just ran out of gas, but he
lose.
still puts in 62. Yeah.
By the way, the Spurs lose every night.
Lose?
The Spurs lose every night. They're like Pistons bad. And Pop's just up there doing like a comedy routine every night.
Yeah.
I know. The Pop stuff is getting all right. I tweeted something about it.
He came out pregame and he goes, "We're going to hammer his ass. We're going to have Victor go at him. We're going to have him post him up. I told Wemby to stick him. Put your butt right in his stomach, back him down over the rim, and just throw it right over the rim. That's what we look forward to. Don't tell Wemby I said that."
And then all the reporters are giving a bunch of laughs, I imagine. It's
and they fall to 7 and 40. So listen, it's similar to the Bill thing, right? Not exactly, but there's some similarities there. And it helps when you're a little bit more like fun as Pop's been here.
Pop is far more funny and playful.
Yeah.
He can be really a jerk. Bill didn't have the gear that Pop has.
Imagine if Bill was up there
to be
joking.
engaging or to do the political stuff or to like speak his mind. Like Bill was a
Pop's
robot.
a statesman for sure in a way that Bill wouldn't.
Well,
Yeah, and he showed a personality.
Pop's pretty arrogant too, though. I mean,
absolutely,
he just gets away with it because he'll like act like your friend on another occasion, and then you'll give him a free pass.
There's a human side to his personality. Bill doesn't show it. That's all I'm saying.
He also didn't force Duncan out of town or Ginobili.
There was a Kawhi, strange Kawhi
those guys out of town. Yeah, the Kawhi thing was tough, but he didn't basically say Kawhi's got nothing left in the tank, and we're gonna
it's a defining decision by Bill there.
Yeah.
And he deserves some time to see this out, probably Pop, but bad season there, giving up 70 to Embiid.
Bad. Yeah.
But is that your biggest threat? I don't even want to talk about Minnesota. Get that guy.
No, I don't want to talk about anything else anymore. Actually,
is Philly your biggest threat?
That's it, guys.
No, we're done. We're not doing playoff preview right now.
Philly right now is probably your biggest threat, Bobby. Yeah.
I don't know yet.
Ask me after.
John has to think about it.
We have to go to the deadline. We have to go through the deadline.
Okay, stop. Ready? Everybody wants it.
Bobby's 1-on-1.
Well, maybe. Pay close attention and tell me what you see here.
I definitely think he'll play early on.
I'm not either, but if Horford's out, I think it's an option.
And there's plenty of time left, but he seems like what the hell is so funny? He seems like somebody who can contribute.
What's going on in the chat? Sorry.
You have control of the chat, John. Let it rip.
Nothing. I just
let it rip.
I thought somebody let one rip, and I started giggling. And
no, you know what that was? It was actually over here. I moved my seat.
That was the classic seat.
So it was Jimmy.
The chat's been all over it, so I've just been like, holding.
I didn't even know you guys could hear that.
The chat called it. It was Jimmy.
It was Jimmy. I was like, I wasn't gonna say anything. I was like, okay, so that happened, and I just kept going.
I need to hear that live.
Play early.
It just went.
I'm not either, but if Horford's out, I think it's an option.
Right at a dead pause in our.
And there's plenty of time left.
Hold on, we gotta hear it one more time.
Wait,
that did not sound like a seat, Jimmy.
It absolutely was a seat. I moved right at the same time too. Why am I going big screen for this?
I can't figure it out, Amit.
Oh, you had it before with three of us in the corner.
There
you go. What is
just
the hell?
Put the bar back up.
He seems like somebody who.
Ready?
I definitely think he'll play early on.
I'm not either, but if Horford's out, I think it's an option.
And there's plenty of time left, but
hold on, let's
it's
rewind
right
it.
when I moved. You have to hear that.
Shh. Quiet.
I definitely think he'll play early on.
I'm not either, but if Horford's out, I think it's an option.
And there's plenty of time.
That did not sound like a chair.
It was a freaking chair. It does sound like a chair with like leathery type. I don't know what I was
Can
wearing.
you
jeans or
recreate the
track
sound
pants.
right now?
No, because I don't have the right pants on right now.
Yeah, I dare you to recreate it.
Oh, I'm so glad we found that. That was one of the best
Wow.
moments.
Who
And we just ignored
who
it. I
found
think
that? How did that guy know it was from the preseason game against the Magic?
no,
Alright,
go
no,
one more time. Look at how we all go silent right after it
All right,
happens, and then we
last
just
time.
try to ignore it.
But
Definitely think he'll play early on.
I'm not either, but if Horford's out, I think it's an option.
and there's plenty of time left, but he seems like what the hell is so funny?
Everyone just stopped. We were mid conversation, and it just.
Oh my god! Oh my god, guys! Whatever.
Cleared out the room.
Oh my god, it's too funny. I remember what pants I was wearing. I think I was wearing my Adidas track pants. So I'm gonna have to
Oh,
put those on
God.
for the next show.
All right, you have to recreate it.
I'm gonna try to recreate it. That'll be the only true test.
The whole show, Jimmy's just gonna. He's not gonna say a thing. He's just gonna be.
I'm gonna be like moving like this. Oh, you guys, did you hear that? You guys hear that?
That was good.
Oh,
2021.
I think if you really put it, you got to listen to it, not thinking fart. Listen to it thinking chair sound.
That's what I was going into it.
You'll
And then
hear
the
the
sound
chair
was
sound.
just. The
feel
sound
like
was unmistakable.
Fart would have been more like echoey.
It did look a little bit that you kind of like lift it up a little bit.
I did not lift it up to fart, but I lifted it up, and when I did it, I scooted in my chair.
Even Luke saw it.
I wouldn't have lifted.
Your mic must have been turned all the way up the way it caught it.
It's when you squeak when your chair squeaks or whenever that sound happens, it's loud. That's why it picked it up. It is what it is.
I mean,
All right, I had more fun watching the Bobby's one-on-one drills.
You've never worn the pant. You've never had that pant chair combo again in the 3 years since.
I'm like, I'm cognizant of it now. Now I'm petrified that it's going to happen again. So I don't move like that anymore.
We just try to keep the show going. We didn't even acknowledge it, but the chat was all over it.
I mean, it was loud. I mean, that was why I didn't. That's why I didn't react when it happened, because I was like, I knew it sounded like a fart, but I didn't know you guys could hear it like that.
Oh yeah, it was loud and clear.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. The donations again. You can.
No one's on my side here.
The super chats obviously shut down when the show stops being live. But anybody who wants to donate directly to the Kide family, please do so on the link that we provided in our
we
chat.
Donated. What do we end up with? Do you know how much?
No, but we'll fill you in after, because we'll see what else comes in. But again, super chat donations and anything that you do, obviously you can go donate yourself as well. And we do appreciate everybody here who did chip in. Thank you again, Garden Report family. Celtics defeat the Dallas Mavericks 34 to 10, 119 to 110. Back-to-back wins. Celtics improved to 34-10 on the season. They got Miami coming up in 2 nights. Is it Wednesday?
Yeah, Thursday night.
Thursday night. So that should be fun. Always fun when they play those guys. So again,
Nick
thank you guys
close to 1,000. Nick says close to 1,000.
Terrific job, everybody. Thank you very much for that stuff. Again, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Always
Thanks,
a pleasure. Always fun. I'm just gonna trail that music in. I'm gonna say,
Yeah.
Not again.
That was
Is
a
there one more
sound
time
effect.
going on?
It's like somebody.
Definitely think he'll play early on.
I'm not either, but if Horford's out, I think it's an option.
And there's plenty of time left, but he seems like
It's all right.
John couldn't even keep himself contained.
No, it's all right.
Oh man, see ya.